there's no sense in acting like these aren't scary times. There's no sense in acting like these aren't unprecedented times. And I don't want to make this video trying to talk about how we need to take advantage of some crisis, take advantage of lives being lost. In essence, I'm saying that, but just let me explain my point. What I'm saying is that in times of crisis, there rises opportunity. In times of crisis, when shit hits the fan and people realize that this is life or death and that we need change and we need it now, that's political opportunity. That's economic opportunity. That is the time to capitalize. If you're a movement that's based on creating real change. America, don't waste this moment. Don't waste it. Don't fall back into your old habits, right? Where something happens and we allow them to manipulate and control us into thinking that nothing is possible. That the only options on the table are a corporate half measure or a corporate full measure, and there's nothing we can do about it. Don't manipulate them into moving the goalposts for you. No, 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 no. You deserve rights. You deserve to be released from oppression. You deserve in the middle of a pandemic to not go bankrupt, to not starve. The richest country in the history of the world and its government should take care of its citizens. And that is abundantly clear. So that's the point I'm trying to make here today, man. Don't fall back into the old habits. Over the last 40 years, whenever something like this occurred, and it's never occurred on this scale, but whenever some crisis happens, whenever we enter a period of economic turmoil and unrest, we allow the politicians to set the narrative and manipulate us. Perfect example is the 2009 recession. 07, 09, and you had Obama come into office. And Obama did this wonderful thing. He's a masterful politician. What he did was he narrowed the framework. They do it every single time, and Obama did it arguably the best of all time. Let me tell you what this man did. You had 10% unemployment. You had millions of jobs hemorrhaging. You had trillions of dollars lost from our economy and the global economy. You had food lines. You had homeless all across the country. It was a disaster. And you know what this man said? He said, listen, I'm going to fight for a Republican healthcare plan from the 90s. This is the best we can do. A Republican healthcare plan from the 90s. Romney Care. This is the best we can do. The best we can do is extend the Bush tax cuts in hopes of getting some unemployment relief for Americans. This is what he presented to us when he had a super majority. It wasn't as if he didn't have political power. He had a mandate. This man had won the election by nearly 10 points. We had a super majority. 60 out of the 100 seats in the Senate. We owned the House. We could get past whatever we wanted if Obama decided to use his political capital and use his political power. But he did it in a weak and corporate half-measure-y way, where he brought in Citigroup-appointed regulators to regulate the fat cats who destroyed our economy, where he pushed a Republican healthcare plan from the 90s, and the best thing that he was even arguing for was the public option. When he continued our efforts in Afghanistan and launched drone strikes in 8 different countries, that is Obama's legacy. They narrow the framework, especially in times of crisis. And what I'm telling y'all today, ladies and gentlemen, is don't allow them to do that. Don't let them tell you what you don't deserve. Don't let them tell you that you aren't entitled to the basic rights of the 21st century, dog. In these times, every American, every citizen across the globe should be able to have health care. Every single one. You should, if you get sick, you should go to a doctor. You shouldn't have to worry about the cost of going bankrupt or starting GoFundMe pages for a little girl with cancer. How sick is that? If you want a higher education, you should be able to go get it. Free of charge. Free at the point of service. The huge corporations, those who are making hundreds of billions of dollars off the starvation wage work of millions of people, they should be able to pay their fair share of taxes. And those taxes should help finance those education programs, those healthcare programs, infrastructure investment programs, etc., etc., etc. Give back to all of our people. Have a fair and balanced economy and social political system. Every person's vote should matter in the 21st century. There shouldn't be corruption. There shouldn't be this wielding of so much corporate influence and them exacting it all over the political system. You shouldn't have the Koch brothers and AIG and Wall Street, every single one of these big tech, huge industries going out and buying elections, buying influence, writing laws. That shouldn't be the case in the 21st century, but it is. And let me tell y'all something, man. That rigged system that I just described, that's what brought us to this moment. I want every single one of us to finally acknowledge that. That's what brought us to this moment. When you had corporations writing laws and buying elections, that's what brought us to this moment. That's why we have 20+% unemployment. 30 million unemployed in 6 weeks. That's why we're here. That's why we ran out of masks and ventilators and ICU units. Because they don't care about us. They abandoned us in our time of need, as people were dying out there in those streets, as they were starving out there in those streets. When we had to put the economy on pause, they abandoned us for corporate interests. They gave them trillions and gave us crumbs. They gave the SBA crumbs. They gave the Paycheck Protection Program crumbs. They didn't freeze rent. They didn't freeze mortgages. They didn't freeze utility payments. They left us out here to die. That's the way it works in America. So don't waste this moment. All that anger that you feel, all that fear that you feel, all that confusion that you feel, use it. Every single one of us, use it. I don't mean to sound too preachy, but it's important, man. It's important. This is an incredible, unprecedented crisis. And people are scared. They are angry. There's people out there protesting. There's a rent strike going on in California and Philly and New York. You have Amazon workers walking out and protesting all across the country. Walmart workers protesting and doing demonstrations, doing strikes. You have people unrest, scared, angry, confused in the middle of a pandemic. It's only going to get worse once the restrictions are eased, because people are starving out here. They're dying out here. 60,000 plus deaths in 6 weeks. This is what's happening in America. So don't waste that moment. Use your brain and say, you know what? How did we get to this moment? A rigged system. So let's stop continuing a rigged system. Maybe I shouldn't vote for Donald Trump, but also maybe I shouldn't vote for Joe Biden. Maybe I should support progressives. Maybe I should support those who are fighting for my interests, who don't take corporate money, who aren't beholden to corporate interests, who are fighting for me and my life and my interests, my family, fighting for my healthcare, my education, my living wage, my rights as a voter, as a worker, as a human being. Fighting for equality and justice, economic justice, political justice, even social justice, environmental justice. That is the time where we say enough is enough. We're going to put forward an agenda that works for all of us. We're going to fight for that agenda. Get millions of us out in the streets. Because by then, there will be a fire under our ass. There'll be a fire under our ass. You can't just ignore this anymore, dog. None of us can ignore this anymore. This is real. This is happening. The rigged system has come to bite all of us in the ass. And it's time to look towards real solutions, real change. Don't waste this moment. Mobilize, act, fight for progressive change. Fight for the future that we all deserve. Don't let the Obamas of the world, the Bidens of the world, the Trumps of the world tell you you don't deserve healthcare. You don't deserve education. You don't deserve a sustainable future, because you do. We all do. Fight for it, man. Don't waste this moment. Don't waste that anger you feel, that fear that you feel. Use it. Let it power you towards a better future.
With the boys, yeah, we making all this noise. Can't complain, riding in the fast lane. To the top, we don't stop up till past 5 o'clock. Smoking trees.